coaches, members of the BCI community, and alumni of the program. As co-captain, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us this evening. For some of us, this banquet marks our fourth and final season as a member of the BC High rowing team. For me personally, these 4 years have been nothing short of spectacular. I owe everything to this team. Without rowing, I wouldn't be standing here as a recruited athlete, I wouldn't have had the wonderful experiences that I've had, and I wouldn't have the great friends that I have today. Now, as time is tight, I don't want to go through all the countless stories I could about the past 4 years here at BC High, but rather give you some insight into what this team looked like just 4 short years ago. Practice would always be subject to change, as the tides, weather, and availability of boats were always in question. We would run down to the water where our 2 boats, the Kynoch and the Flint, were stored. As you may know, the Kynoch and the Flint are not the lightest boats. And the walk from the Electro Lock to Teanan Beach isn't exactly a short walk. So we tried anything to lighten the load. We even tried a mixture of like a bike tire, and then it didn't end up working too well, but from there we caught a break. The owner of Venezia allowed us to store our boats in a spare lot on the property and use his docks to launch from. This really helped us have a more consistent practice, but the Neponset was still the Neponset, and you never knew what could happen. For instance, one practice we lost a skeg because we hit a bike that was hidden underwater. And during another, we came 3 feet from being struck by a falling tile from the MBTA bridge. In my opinion, moving to the Charles full-time brought this team to a whole new level. The ability to have consistent practice and get more time on the water was crucial, and it showed in our improvement as a team. From there, you guys all know the story. Team final winners, 8th ahead of the Charles, grand finals this year. It was a meteoric rise for a program that was and is still so young. This spring, we were joined on the Esplanade by a new startup program, Milton Rowing. While we were quick to complain about how they would be getting in our way, Coach McKinnon reminded us of something that really made me think back to my 4 years in this program. They were no different than we were just 4 short years ago. Their path mirrored ours in almost every aspect, coming from the Neponset to the Charles in search of better rowing. The fact that we went from a no-name program on the Neponset to one that others wanted to emulate really shows the transition that this team has made in such a brief period of time. Now, I want to leave you with a quote that I learned in my French class last year. It reads as follows: "Le difficile n'est pas de monter, mais en montant de rester soi." The difficulty isn't in rising, but while at the top, to stay there. We've earned a spot among the elite teams this year. They know who we are, and they realize that BC High is now a legitimate threat. However, no one will give an inch to you guys in the coming years. We've supplanted some very good teams, and they all want that spot back. Underclassmen, it is your job to make sure that as a program, we not only stay where we are, but continue to rise. In the words of Mr. Hughes, awards and honors mean nothing unless you exceed them. Thank you.
Good evening, parents, families, coaches, and teammates. I am honored to speak to you here tonight. I would like to start out by saying thank you. Thank you to our parents and families, whose continuous support has enabled us to become the people that we are today. If my parents were not always there for me over these past 4 years, there is no telling where I may end up. Thank you to the coaches for their determination and dedication to making us not only into good athletes, but also good kids. Last, but certainly not least, thank you to my teammates. It is you who make rowing fun, who have brought me back year after year, especially when the sport gets too hard or too overwhelming. There really is no way I can thank you enough, because without you guys being there for me, I would not be the person I am standing here today. This sport has been the biggest aspect of my high school career. When all is said and done, It is not the classes or the assemblies that I will remember. It is the memories that I have made on this team that will remain the most clear. Whether it be walking the boat down to Tinning Beach or rowing in the Royal Henley, I know that this sport, this team, has provided me with some of the best years of my life. I have been fortunate enough to watch this team grow up, to mature. Our class, this year's group of seniors, are the first to fully undergo all of the program and what it has to offer. We have watched the program grow from a mere 2 eighths to a now fleet of eights. We have gone from the saltwater tidal Neponset River to one of the most well-known rivers in the world. We have come from not placing any boats in the near final to having all 3 of our eights make a grand final. In a few short years, this team has accomplished the seemingly impossible. The real transformation, however, has come not through our equipment or through our success. The real transformation has come from within the team itself. This team has grown, has matured in its own right, both individually and collectively. If 4 years ago you were to tell me that the kid sitting next to me would grow into some of my best friends, there is no way I would believe it. I was surrounded by freshman boys, all from different backgrounds, who only shared one thing: in utter confusion of what this sport was all about. I've spent the better half of my high school career with this team. Over the past 4 years, I've spent more time with these guys than some of my best friends. However, somewhere during the whole process, these guys have become my best friends. We've spent hours, days, even weeks together at a time. During the past 4 years, we have truly formed a brotherhood. We have transformed into a group of strangers into a family. I have been blessed enough to have these guys be a part of my life. I know that regardless of where we end up in the years to come, the relationships I've made from this team will do nothing but grow stronger. You guys are the kids I can turn to when things get difficult. You guys are the ones who I will miss most next year when we leave the comfort of BC High Road. Most importantly, you guys are the ones who have made my experience here the best it could possibly be. As we embark on our last journey together, I hope that we can only build upon our existing friendships. I know that this trip, this experience, will be one that I will never forget. I will miss you guys all greatly when this experience comes to an end. This chapter of my life is coming to an end. The end of an era is approaching. I just hope you guys know that you are my best friends, and I would not be who I am today without you guys. So thank you all for an unforgettable 4 years. I wish you nothing but success.